Well, baby, now you are at the long end of 50. You are in Atlanta, the other black mecca besides Chicago. How are our prospects looking?
0/0.
What happened? What's going on? How can that be in Atlanta?
I know everybody's saying this is the land of milk and honey as far as dating. That's not true. Or maybe a certain age, you
yeah,
just
some honey
don't.
going on. There's some honey going on. There's some honey going on in Atlanta. All right, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's if you're certain. For me, I've been here since about 2013, and I actually had a long distance relationship for 2 years. That was in 2015. After that, it's been dry. Like my phone may have rang. I dated a guy a couple of months after that long distance ended. And after then, it's just like my phone doesn't ring. Like I probably have access to sexual activity, but not relationships where I can sit down under at Christmas time and have that bond and those rituals. Like even when I was in relationships before, I never had that. And I dread the holidays because this Christmas I didn't even wrap my own presents. I threw that stuff in a gift bag and put it under the tree. Just 4 little things for myself, and then my family gave me something, and that was it. Like I'm tired of celebrating Christmases by myself, but I know this is my lot in life, so
Whoa.
I try to accept it.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Sophia,
every year.
Sophia, you really bought yourself presents?
Every year. Yeah, every year I've done this. Yes. Yes.
Explain, somebody help me, or not somebody, I'm talking to Sophia. Help me to understand there. I don't quite, buying yourself a present, like, are you wrapping them?
Yeah, this year was the first year I didn't wrap anything because I didn't want to put myself through that.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why would you? Because unless all the presents have the same size, why isn't it rather anticlimactic? You already know what's in there. What's the point?
It was just that glimmer of hope that maybe this would be my last year doing this for myself. But I've done this for so many decades that even when I was in relationships, I never had a relationship where the man and I spent the holidays together. After 30, my whole life in dating, my whole dating world changed. And that's when I can put, now that I know, been over here at this channel learning the truth, I can see that was the breakdown of my dating. 30.
I want you all to understand what that is. I want to put what she said in its proper context. For those of you who saw the Tom Hanks movie Castaway, for any of you who saw that movie with Tom Hanks, Castaway, he was a FedEx pilot. The plane crashes. He washes up on a deserted island. He's there so long by himself, but eventually washing up on the shores is a soccer ball made by the Wilson Company. We've all seen Wilson balls. Tom Hanks puts little hair, little grass on the ball to turn it into a person because his psyche was breaking. Human beings are social creatures. Narcissism eventually destroys the person inhabiting it because we need human interaction. We can't define our place in the world without other people. So in effect, what she did was make a Wilson ball by ritual. Remember what I just said during the holidays, these are rituals that we do. But these are not pointless rituals. They remind us of who we are and where we are in the world. It's a checkup. And when you've had children or a husband, you've lived all these decades, and then when you get to the end of that, there's nothing knocking on the door. There's nothing calling. You've made mortal enemies of all the people who were supposed to be here. At that point, whatever it was you thought you were having so much angst with that person about, all these things in your 20s, that just, I ain't got to take this. And then when you get to this point, it's like, wow, I can handle this. I can handle that situation standing on my head today. And it really wasn't worth it, except somebody, might be yourself, convinced you that you got way more options and, worst of all, way more time. Next, I want to talk to Monica. Now, I got to tell you all, Monica actually has a special place in my heart because Monica has been through some things. And she is really, I really wanted her to be here tonight because she is a very stark, cautionary tale because everybody wants to act like everything's going to be okay no matter what they do. And I think that she is a good reminder that you never know what's going to happen. Monica, you're 49 now and you live in California, correct?
Correct.
You don't have any biological children, but
No.
you have been married.
Correct.
How many times you been married?
Twice.
Okay. Let's talk about your second husband. How old were you when you met him?
39.
Okay. Where is that gentleman from?
Uh, Ireland.
Okay. Is he a black Irishman?
No, not.
Okay. We just want to make sure we got that settled there.
Mhm.
Did this gentleman, was he married before?
Correct. And he was, yes, he was, I was his second wife.
Okay. And did he have any children?
He had one son.
Okay. So you went from one single father, black, to another single father, white.
Correct.
Okay. And how old again were you when you met him?
I met him at 39,
Okay. How old were you when you married him?
41.
Okay. And how old were you when you divorced him?
At 47.
Okay. So 6 years later.
Correct.
Okay. And did anything happen within that time?
So when I met his son, he was 14. And during those years, we never got along.
So you and the stepson, basically it was that step family friction there.
Yes, it was extremely volatile. Um, and
His
he lived.
mother was black also, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so this was an
And
Irishman. This was an Irishman who frequented black women. But go ahead.
correct. And he lived with us 100% of the time, but he never respected me, never respected um, any of the rules, and that caused a great amount of friction.
Okay. Who filed for divorce?
Uh, it was a mutual.
Okay. Who filed for divorce?
He did because of my medical disability. I uh, During that marriage, I ended up having a stroke, and and I lost my ability to speak.
How old were you? How old were you when you had your stroke?
At 43.
Now, that was the reason I wanted you all to take a listen to that. She got married in her 20s. She got divorced. She met this man again. She got married when she was 41. 2 years into the marriage, she suffers a stroke. So, if you're wondering why she might be talking in some measured tones and whatnot, she's done a lot of recovery over the last 6 years. And she's still dealing with aphasia. For those of you who don't know, Bruce Willis, they said that Bruce Willis has aphasia, but aphasia is a result of a stroke. So they keep saying aphasia without saying he had a stroke. But long story short, Monica suffered a stroke when she was 43 years old. 43, not 53, not 63, 43. Now,
Correct.
you still work out and everything, so you've always been a female who stayed active. So it's not like, you built like, Bay or anything like that. So for a young female who's always stayed active, Did you ever in your life imagine that you would suffer a stroke at 43?
Absolutely not.
But what you're saying now is that, well, let me find out here. How has that affected the way that men see you or treat you?
It has taken me several years to even to be conversational. Initially, after the stroke, I stuttered terribly, and whenever I'm nervous, anxious, it's difficult to find words. It's a lot of difficulty to um, express. Uh, it's difficult to uh, find. I have word finding difficulty. um, the answer to your question is, as soon as I start speaking, it is slow. It is very uh, obvious that I have I have problems with my speech. Uh,
Now, physically, looking at you, and I have, physically, you couldn't tell.
correct.
Looking at her physically, you would not know it. She's in very good shape. She's got a cute face on her, slim waist. She's got a nice smile. You would never know by looking at her. But if you talk to her, then you'll start to pick up on cues. And what I'm saying is, this is something she's been dealing with since her early 40s. So at that time of life where a female kind of feels like, okay, I made it over 40, I'll just cruise from here. Here comes life with a damn fastball you didn't see coming.
Correct.
And from there, it literally has a domino effect that affects everything else. And you just don't see that coming. And
Correct.
then you realize just how little time you actually had. Because now you're like, okay, there's life before this, and then there's life after this, because this is going to literally affect every single relationship you have on every single level, period. On every single level.
That's right.
So all of a sudden, the previous 23 years seem like a damn big gift. And has it made you reconsider how you spent the previous 23 years?
Absolutely.
How so?
I It was difficult for me to make this decision to even to speak publicly, but I feel it's my it's my responsibility to let women to I want people to know, women especially, young, old, middle age, be be thankful for the time you have, about your health. Um, Having disagreements, that maybe you can just let it go and keep your family in in keeping your family intact instead of being alone. So listening to Miss Sophia, my heart breaks because I didn't I didn't buy gifts for myself. I did not do that, but I was alone yesterday, and it's true. Being alone is one of the worst things imaginable when you want to have a family and have traditions and spend time with people. It's difficult, and at my age, I don't have a significant other.
Let me find out here. You had your stroke at 43. Have you had any recurrences since then?
You mean as far as health?
Yeah, have you
difficulties.
had any transient ischemics or anything else like that?
Oh, no, no, not at all.
Okay, so far, and I don't mean to say this so far, but you've had one stroke. I certainly hope that is the first and the last. I
Correct,
absolutely do.
correct,
You've
yes.
already talked to your doctors, so what I'm about to say next is not going to be a shock. You know, like everybody else does, there's a certain percentage of people, of course, who have a second one.
That's
And,
true.
you know, it's very difficult to tell. Genetics play a very big part in it. And, you know, genetics play a big part in it. And so I hope certainly that we've seen the last. I hope we
Thank,
have.
thank
But
you.
I think that that brings it a little bit more in stark relief when we say things like, by the way, she's spending the holidays alone. She has no husband. She has no children. At that point, you're not living single. You're gambling. You're gambling with your life. You have a stroke. It literally affects the brain and the neural system. You may not, you probably can't even pick up the phone. Hell, you might be looking at the phone and cannot distinguish what the numbers 911 mean.
That's exactly
That's
right.
literally what could happen is if they say use the first alert thing, you might not know the difference between a first alert necklace and a log of wood if
That's
you have
right.
a stroke. So hopefully you have the presence of mind and the cognition. But what we're saying here is that just understand under certain circumstances, those may not even help.
You're absolutely right, Jason. That's what happened during the stroke. I couldn't remember my password to get into the phone, so I could not call for help. It took me an hour to figure out how to get out the house.
Hey, Linda,
Yes,
how was your holiday?
it was okay. I
You
preferred.
keep saying that everything's fine, everything's great, everything's okay, and then we get the details and it's everything
I
except
would.
fine and great and okay.
I would prefer to have a husband.
Okay, what kind of company did you have?
My mother, my
Do
stepdad.
you and your mom even get along like that? I mean, are you just really say, "Hey, great, glad to see mom"? Like, is it really like
No,
that?
no.
Okay,
My aunt, cousins. That's it.
Sophia,
Yes.
when you messed up with your first husband, did you think there were just a few options to replace this immigrant dude, or did you think you were flush with options?
I thought I was flush with options. I actually thought I would remarry and have a second set of kids, and I um I was told that it was okay to live like that. Right? I mean, but I came from dysfunction, so I just didn't get the right information. I was lied to. I was lied to by the church. I was lied to by my grandmother who had been married for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. And then she kept telling me secretly that she hated it even she got married. She said she wished she had stayed single. So looking at all that, I'm like, wow. And then when
So
I went to my,
wait, slow down. Your
hmm
grandmother told
hmm
you that she wished she had been single,
she had stayed single, yes.
but she wouldn't divorce her husband.
No, she stayed with him till she died.
So she told you that,
hmm
but it was do as I say, not as I do.
Right, right.
So she's telling her little granddaughter, or in this case, she might have been
hmm
grown. She's telling
hmm
her granddaughter to do the opposite of what she's doing to get over.
Right. That's why you talk about these lying old people. They lie. They tell us one thing and they do another. And then when I
Did you
went to my
let me ask you a different question here because I think this
sure.
dovetails off of Linda.
hmm
I got a feeling we're going to hear some similar things here. Did you ever get the feeling that your grandmama didn't like you?
Sometime, yeah.
Because I think some of y'all need to go back in these family trees and stuff and check a
Yep.
few things because I'm not sure, you know, what side of which grandmother and what side of the family you're talking about, father or mother, but it was on your maternal or paternal side.
My mother's side, maternal, yes.
Okay. You never know. She might not have liked it. Well, I mean, was your mom married to your dad?
Yes, but they
That yes was real shaky. Did your grandmama like him?
no.
Okay.
She kept up a lot of mess with my mom. She told my mom that my mom's third child was not my father's.
There you go.
Bingo, you hit the nail on the head.
Now
Yep.
that's what I was waiting to
Yep.
hear.
She kept
So
up a lot of
basically,
confusion.
grandmama was, I don't like these little niggas you got running around here anyway.
Nope. And my mom confessed to me, she said her mom never told her anything about sex, babies, nothing. My mom ended up with 7 kids with 5 baby daddies.
And your grandmother made her into the woman she was,
Right.
and at the same time had contempt for her. Now, what do you know? The granddaughters' grandmother helped forge them into the women that they became. And what do you know? She's got contempt for them too.
And my grandfather. My grandfather, when I went to him with some good news about going to nursing school, you know what he told me? And it's hard to say this, I'm sorry. He said, you ain't gonna be shit just like your mother. He said, you ain't gonna do shit and you ain't gonna be shit. You're gonna be just like your mama.
I'm trying to contain myself over here.
That's what I came from. So I had to struggle through proving myself to men and relationships, trying to make sure I jumped through hoops for them to prove myself. And I never proved myself in relationships. I never did that because I never got the truth from my people. They never told me the truth. You don't have options after a certain age. Jason is telling you all the truth. Your options run out. You don't have options after a certain age. You have sexual access. That's it.
Linda, does anything you just heard sound familiar?
Yes.
Does any of that you feel contributed to your attitude towards men?
Yes, because my mom did the same thing to my father.
What do you mean?
Both of my parents were immigrants, and my mom basically built up my dad's business, and my dad had contempt for my mom because she's more successful now. My mom was disrespectful to my father and basically said, I built this business, like, basically put him down, kicked him when he was down. They got divorced. And now, when we had a conversation about my relationship with my father, you asked me if I respected him. And I said no, because now he has taken his now wife and her 2 kids. Basically, they're going to inherit what he built in California when my mom was the person who purchased the first house that he still owns to this day in LA.
Well, here's the thing. You and I have talked about that before, and I can understand some of your feelings in that regard, but I want you to understand something, and I'm not here to pass a judgment one way or the other. But what I am going to say is this: a man's attachment to a child is no stronger than his attachment to the mother. If mama is a bunch of problems, that is going to make things very, very difficult otherwise. Very, very difficult. And I'm not talking about what's right or wrong. I'm talking about biology. And what I'm saying is, what you were saying basically is that your mama screwed things up. She ticked dad off. He ran off, married another woman, had 2 kids. Essentially, he started over again, is what you're saying.
They're not his biological kids.
Okay, but you're saying essentially he started over. He got with another woman. He's got another set of kids now. And you're saying that he is starting the process of legacy all over again with children that are not even biologically his.
Correct.
So he would rather invest in 2 non-biological children than in the child of this woman who has disrespected him.
Correct.
He would rather do that, even though you literally could take him to court and a bunch of other things, depending on, I don't know if California is a succession state. Louisiana is where I'm from, but I don't know about California. But this could actually turn into all kinds of messy legalness, and he's willing to risk it to make a point that he had enough of being disrespected. So your mother was okay risking that. Here's the question, Linda, are you okay with the way it turned out?
No, I'm not.
20 years ago, how old was your mama?
She was in her 40s.
Okay. And she met her new husband there.
Yes.
Is he Asian?
No.
Hell no. Is he white?
Yes.
Hell yes. Is he from America?
Yes.
Okay. What does he do for a living?
Mortgage banking.
Okay. I can't get into the particulars of him because I don't know his character. I don't know what kind of individual he is or whatever, but I will tell you one thing. Your mama caught the last train leaving. I will tell you that. Your mom caught the last train leaving. Oh, yeah. One more difference here, by the way. So this man is, how old is this cat?
70 now.
Okay. What's the age difference about between him and her?
A year.
So they're both in their 70s.
My mom is 69. Yes.
Okay. So they met in their 50s.
Late 40s, I want to say.
Okay. So she met a mortgage banker. I don't really know what that means, but that doesn't mean he's making millions of dollars.
He owned his own company.
And that's congratulations. Not really sure how in the hell she ran into him. I'll let that be what it is. Apparently she had some of the time that floated his boat. The environment was different back then. Being an Asian chick on Tinder and Match and whatever was a novelty back then. Not so much today. So your mom caught the last train leaving. So your mama met this man in her 50s. I mean, she met him in her, you said she's 69 now.
Yes.
Yeah. Your mom would have met this man very late 40s, about to kick 50.
Yes.
So she spotted a sucker. I mean, she spotted a guy who was in a position that she knew she could maneuver, and she grabbed the last train leaving.
Right.
I bet you she hid your ass. I bet you she never mentioned you. I don't want to start no mess here, but I bet you she never mentioned you. I bet you, and by the way, I bet you she was the perfect Stepford wife. I bet you from the moment she met him, no back talking. What do you need? I make some dum goy. I bet you she was all the way Panda Express lit. I bet you she was. I'll put everything on it. I'll put my Amazon bestsellers on it. I will put my film library of my Amazon bestsellers on it. That she wasn't no damn Lucy Liu and some Asian feminist. She's sitting right there with the Chung Sam on and Daddy, what do you need? Tea, pancakes, everything else ready first thing in the morning, while she's prepped you to get out here and get it yourself. Think about that for a moment. Did your mother groom you to follow in her footsteps what she did? Or did she say, oh, you're doing good, getting out here humping it on your own. You're doing good, Linda. Think about that for a moment.
She told me to get on Match. I told you she paid for it.
Yeah, but I'm okay, but here's the problem. You can't buy love. And you can't buy a man's respect. You got to earn that. So she got to a point in her life where she's like, okay, and she faking it all the damn way, but she's like, hey, this is the last train leaving. I better act like I got some sense. Meanwhile, her daughter, 20 years old, is 19 years old. And what I'm seeing from your behavior and your mannerisms and what you made a focal point in your life. She wasn't grooming you to be wife material. She was grooming you to take care of yourself. Okay, but when she went for a man, she grabbed a damn mortgage banker. By the way, when did she stop working?
My mom works for herself.
When did she stop working for somebody else, ma'am?
20 years ago.
Yeah. So when she met him, she exited the workforce.
Yes.
All aboard!
Okay, you're
That
sound
was
effects.
the sound of the last train leaving. And she said, I'm gonna be on it. That was the y'all, did I call it or did I call it? She said, baby, this is the last train leaving and I'm getting my ticket. By the way, your first husband, what did your mother think of him?
I could do better
Why would she think that?
because he didn't make enough money.
Why did you choose him?
Because I was 25 and I wanted to get married and have kids.
You were 25 and he had swag.
Yes.
He had serious swag. He had mixed Latino swag.
Colombian.
Yeah, he was like, well, he was like,
Afro-Latino.
he was Afro Latino though, so
Correct.
you know, he had that mixed Latino swag. So okay, but he did work, did he not?
Yes.
Okay, then what?
Then he started a construction company.
Did he have that construction company when you divorced him?
No.
Okay, what were you thinking?
He said that it wasn't making enough money and he was going to CDL school.
Okay, so in other words, he was still trying to keep his gears turning.
Yes.
So this wasn't a guy who was just sitting on his ass not doing anything.
Correct.
And you were still not happy. Y'all were in your 20s. Was he in his 20s also?
Yes.
So he hadn't even made it to his 30s yet.
Correct.
Okay. Let me go ahead and remind you all of the peak value chart. In our 20s as men, because you get given things, Linda. You get given things. All you got to do is make sure your breasts are perky and you ain't putting on a bunch of body fat, and you get things at 20. Men got to earn it, especially if he's a black male. Even if he mixed, he's got to earn it. He got to get out here and get it. And it takes time to figure out what's going to work for you. Now, it shouldn't take no 20 years, but it takes time to figure out what the hell that's going to be if he's got ambitions like that. I know, I was there. Plenty of black males listening to me right now. So in our 20s, we knock around and we try to figure out what's going to work best for us. 50 Cent told this story. Jay-Z told this story. That's what we do in our 20s. We try to figure out what we're going to do. What's going to kick off for us? What's going to pop off for us? And what you're really looking for is drive and competence. Is he getting up every day, getting after it, or is he sitting at home on the Xbox? He wasn't doing that. Okay, maybe he hasn't found the right idea. Remember, my first 3 businesses failed before my 4th one took off. I didn't hit a home run out of the park on try number 1. That didn't happen. So I'm just saying, for every other guy out there, I understand if he takes a few tries, it does. My real thing is he still at it or is he pipe dreaming? He chose things that were practical things he could do. Some things work, maybe they don't. He's in his 20s. He didn't even make it to his 30s yet. He didn't even make it there yet. That's when we really hit our stride. Now we got it figured out. All those core characteristics still there. The drive, the ambition, the competence. Is he still hitting on all cylinders with that? You get a guy who's got that, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But if he feels like the female he's with does not have his back and she doesn't really support him, he's going to start backing off the productivity. And he's going to start saving it and start depositing it somewhere else with someone else. By the way, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Now, where have we heard that before?
My father.
Caller from area code 847. You're on live with the business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Catherine, and I'm calling because I've never married, and I'm 63 years
Okay, baby,
old.
you sound like Monica right now. How old are you?
63.
Okay, and what's your question?
63. Yes. I was wondering, is it too late for me to ever marry?
Maybe. You're saying what are your prospects at 63 years old, baby? You'd have to be Nicole Murphy.
Yeah.
You'd have to be Nicole Murphy at this point to have good prospects. So let me find out here. What city are you looking for a man in?
I live in St. Louis. I don't have
strike one.
He doesn't have to be from St. Louis.
Okay, I see you in St. Louis. Strike one. You're in St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm willing to move.
You better be willing to get on an airplane or a space shuttle. But in case, next question: how old does he have to be? Okay. How old does he have to be maximum? What's the maximum age you're willing to get?
I guess 75.
Okay, you're 63. You're willing to go up to 75.
I think. I don't know. I haven't.
Okay, you haven't thought this over. All right. How much money does he need?
I haven't really thought about it.
How much money are you going to require him to be bringing in?
As long as he can take care of himself, like in a retirement, and if he has his own money, that I don't need to support him financially.
You're looking for a man.
I'm not retired yet.
Okay, but you're looking for a man that you don't have to financially support.
His own money.
Okay, but so you're willing. Okay, stop. So you're willing to date a guy who makes $35,000 a year working at Chuck E. Cheese?
Well,
that's a yes. That's a yes or no question. That's a yes or no question, ma'am. So you just said as long as he can take care of himself, great. He's 68 years old. He makes $35,000 a year. He wears the big mouse outfit working at Chuck E. Cheese. That's cool, correct?
If he's a good man, yes. If he's a good man, and like you said, 60, 65 over, he's probably eligible for a retirement. You know, like
okay. Well, no. You don't get to put add-ons to it. Look at that, y'all. She's trying to bump that up. Well, he can work at Chuck E.
Well.
He can work at Chuck E. Cheese as long as he's getting a pension somewhere. Chuck E. Cheese plus the pension. Okay, we can work that. No, ma'am, I meant what I said. He just like that Barky. Hey, y'all go look up the Snickers commercial with Barky the dog, okay? The Barky the dog Snicker commercial. When the kid asked him, he said, "Are you really a Barky's?" This kid, I'm a grown man who's made a lot of mistakes. That's who he is. So if he's 70 years old wearing the Chuck E. Cheese mouse outfit, no, ma'am, you have just reached max pay. That's his peak value. Are you ready to ride?
If he has all the other qualifications I would desire.
All the other qualifications, what's that?
He must be a God-fearing man.
Now you got now she has a religious qualification on it. Okay.
Yes.
Go on.
He must wait until marriage for sex.
You are 63 years old. Have you ever given birth?
Yes. No.
You want a 70-something-year-old man to get a 63-year-old woman, and you want him to wait until marriage before having sex?
Yes.
Explain to me exactly why that's a requirement for you at 63.
Because I've been celibate since for about 23 years now, and I've been waiting for marriage. You know, I haven't been dating them, I've been sort of I've been sort of following the religious code to wait until marriage and God would bring the person, but God
Oh
hasn't.
my God.
So
No.
I thought
No, that's why you're
Why?
63 and still
that
waiting.
God would bring me the person that I need for my life.
See?
So I guess that no way.
Ma'am, do
Oh,
you
Lord.
hear
Yeah.
yourself? You're
Well,
63.
that's
Stop. You're
yeah.
63. What the hell are you
Yes, I am.
preserving? You're
Well,
at
my integrity.
63. Baby, look,
Well,
listen to me. Ain't nothing fresh off the lot when you 63. Tell me what part of you is fresh off the lot that you've been preserving, that it has the same value at 63 that it did at 23. Tell me what part of your body has the same value, its same quality at 63 that it had at 23. Go.
it's for religious reasons, and you wouldn't understand that.
Ma'am, I do perfectly understand it. I'm talking about economic reasons. Your religion has not preserved you. You've got 40, maybe 50 years of road miles on you now. That man is listen, that man isn't getting a vestigial virgin.
Yeah, but I haven't been sexually active for many years.
But ma'am, but your sex,
closer.
okay, but the value of your sexuality has plummeted. Do you not understand that? You're one of the golden girls. I'm not joking. You're
Well,
63. You're one of the golden girls, and you're talking as if you're a fresh 20-something-year-old, and dude's gonna wait for a 63-year-old. You expect somebody to wait? That's why I was trying to be subtle. That's why I was saying, what part of your body works the same at 63 that it did at 23? And you talking about he needs to wait for sex. It's not as if your sexuality has been preserved.
I'm in great shape. I'm in great shape, and I'm not.
What does that have to do with the quality of your sexual response?
I think my sexual response would be just as great as it was when I was in my 20s.
You are not a man having to make that determination. No That's way. Not even physically possible. Your hormone level has plummeted. You're starting to have hairs on your chin. You've been through hot flashes. You're no longer cycling. What in the hell? Ma'am, I'm trying to be nice.
This is what the church does to you.
Yeah. That's why I spoke on it earlier.
Jason, bring it down a notch. What were you saying, Miss Sophia?
This is the Boaz effect. Waiting on Boaz.
And I'm sure she's there Wednesday and Sunday giving 10% of her income.
Mm-hmm. This is what the church is teaching women.
She's 63 years old trying to argue with me that at 63, she is just as sexually capable at 63, that the experience is no different at 63 as it was at 23. There's been no degradation in the experience whatsoever. None.
Just menopausal.
She's literally saying this to other grown people, that she's grandma's gone wild, but that she's ready to rock, that there's been no changes whatsoever.
I can't say that it's been no changes whatsoever, but because I haven't experienced anything so long.
Okay, take my word for it. There's been a drop in your stock. Take my word for it. Nobody is jumping over.
Maybe so, but
nobody's jumping over any hurdles, and they damn sure.
I think I am.
Ma'am,
I think I am enough for a 70-year-old man.
Listen
I'm
to
enough
me.
For a 70-year-old man.
No, you can't assume that. Listen to me. Nobody's going to jump over any hurdles, and no man is going to let you put him on the time clock. Furthermore, listen to what you just said. I think I'm enough for a 70-year-old man. You think a 70-year-old man got time to wait? Do you hear yourself?
If he is a God-fearing man and he's following the biblical principles, I think he will wait.
Okay, tell me how long. Tell me how
be.
long you think a man should wait to get access to your 63-year-old breadbasket. How long do you think he should wait?
Well, soon as he puts a ring on her finger.
Okay, so you're saying he should wait 2 or 3 years?
No.
But that's usually the average amount of time that it takes for a man to propose.
Well, maybe. If we
yeah, this is more that This is more that manifest stuff. You talking about love on first sight? You're supposed to be too old to be talking like this.
No. That's not love at first sight.
Okay, why would a man want to marry you at 63? What's he gonna get that he's not getting from you single already?
He will get intimacy.
Okay, whoa. What's so special about your intimacy?
Because I waited and haven't shared with anything.
At 60, for so long. Okay, ma'am, but that does not indicate quality thereof. There's a whole bunch of things that sit in mothballs and get stored, and they're no good.
I would be more appreciative.
Oh, okay. You would be okay. So all of this is what you would appreciate and what you want.
Well, I think I could respond to him the way he would want me to respond.
You have no way of knowing that. You've been out of the league and out of practice for decades.